Okay, so one of the most common sayings that we've all heard is that you should learn from mistakes. Hi, I'm Mahir Malhotra, 22, and here's to hoping that you learn a little something from me today. Some of you might know me from my relatable reels, my YouTube videos with my friends and family, or my first and thankfully still ongoing business, Clingy. I'm the guy who did the Kala Chashma dance on stage, essentially twerked on my own convocation in front of the dean, and went extremely viral for it. I'm talking 30 million plus, covered by news channels, and almost had my degree taken away viral. I'm the guy who used to prank people in public, including Aman Gupta from Board. And one of the first few pieces of viral content that I created were around a trend, around TED Talks, and today I'm in front of you about to give my first actual TED Talk. Life really has come full circle for me. Life has really come full circle for me, and I'm going to be trying my best to outline it for you. And I hope that you take something positive away from it. I'm living proof that, oh, I'm finding myself isn't just a cliche line, but it's a reality that we all need to chase. So I was born and brought up in a close-knit joint Punjabi family, not with the most resources, but with definitely the most memories. I was a very happy child, shy, introverted at home, disciplined, and I didn't like to trouble my family a lot. In school, though, I was the complete opposite. I was really extroverted, really naughty, really talkative. My parents told me only one thing: do whatever you want, Mahir, just make sure you don't get into trouble to the point where the teachers have to call us to school. So in my head, I was like, okay, I can get into trouble, just not to the point where the teachers have to call my parents. And that's exactly what happened. I kept getting into trouble, but the teachers didn't call my parents because of my good grades. I was a very smart child with a very sharp memory. My mom would give me material to learn, and I would be able to recite it from the first word to the very last word. So all my mom saw was a shy, disciplined child who was good at studies. My dad, on the other hand, who I've learned so much from, but that's a TED Talk for another day, he was working really hard to provide for the family and build a sustainable business for me to take over later. All in all, my parents were really happy with the way I was being brought up. So my parents always told me that I'm supposed to be the guy who breezes through his education, joins the family business, earns, enjoys, and that's that. And that's something that I started believing too. I made a mistake and I became complacent at a very young age. I thought I'm more than capable and life is going to be easy for me, but that's where I was wrong. So I was keeping up my grades, but I was only keeping up my grades to stay out of trouble. And little by little, I started realizing how much I despised what they were teaching us. I saw absolutely no merit in reciting the right hand thumb rule in Vivas or making balance sheets in exams. I just didn't care, and I was only doing it to stay out of trouble and be in my teachers' and my parents' good books. So after that, my parents didn't put any pressure on me. Everything was going great. I was in a relationship with my long-term girlfriend. I had great friends. I had great family. Everything was perfect. I was a popular kid. I played football. Everything was as perfect and great as it could be until the final 2 years of school, where life really hit me like a train. To say that I wasn't prepared would actually be an understatement. I recognize that I was privileged enough to have a really blessed and consistent life, to the point where at that time I hadn't even experienced the feeling of being hurt and disappointment. So, how it works in school is everything leads up to your final 2 years, where the final reward or validation comes from outside grades, of course, comes from your extracurriculars and the school council, and I was expected to get both. So I always say this, and football will always be my first love. I watched my first Man United game when I was 7, and ever since then I haven't missed a single game, and I don't plan on. I played for my football team since I was in the third grade, and with the school council, I was supposed to be the house captain. My interview went great. My teachers told me it's going to happen. Everyone in school was expecting it. Everything was perfect. But then, back to back, incidents started happening with me that just because I was present there and it wasn't even my fault, I got kicked off the school team and I got blacklisted from the council. All two big things in school world leads up to, I no longer had them. I felt broken. I felt confused, and the only routine I knew in school was now broken. And at that time, I would have told you that it was the wrong place in a wrong time moment, but boy, was I wrong. At that time, my mindset wasn't right. Of course, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time when it comes to those particular incidents. They weren't my fault. But overall, me getting into trouble previously didn't help. Me expecting help from my teachers, expecting them to show me sympathy when all I had were good grades and nothing else, was actually wrong for me. And that's when I realized about this very important concept that I'm going to be talking about. So do any of you follow boxing or Gary Vee? Okay, I see a hand there. Cool. For people who don't know, I'll explain it. So this is how it works. The concept is called jab, 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 right hook. So jabs are basically punches that you set up before landing the final knockout punch, which is the right hook. This concept works for life in general, any particular field that you want. So basically, this is how it goes. Jab, jab, jab. You give, you give, you give. You really set it up. You really build yourself. You work towards yourself. You be the best version of yourself. All of you already know that. And when it comes time to expect things from people, from life, or your goals in general, you're more likely to get it than you're not. It's a very important concept that I love for all of you to look into. So all of this is happening. My close friends are achieving things outside academics. They know what they like doing. They're all doing it. And of course, I'm happy for them. But at the same time, I felt really sad and lonely. In my head, I was convinced that I'm supposed to be the guy, but I had nothing to show for it. I just kept thinking, where are my achievements? Where are the things that I like doing? What do I like? Why do I like what I like? What are my things? Who am I? I had absolutely no idea who I was. All I remember thinking at that point and all I remember feeling is being super scared of not realizing my own potential. So I believe that all of us have a potential that we can either reach or even better exceed. And I was just so scared of not realizing that potential that I wanted to do everything in my power to know what my potential is. And that's how I want all of you to feel as well after today, to be scared of not realizing your own potential. You need to work on yourself, work on your desires, and that's the only way you can actually get close to that potential. Because trust me, in the future, when you realize that you aren't doing everything in your power to bring yourself up, and you aren't putting in the work and bettering yourself every day, no one pulls you harder than yourself, and that's the last thing that I would want for any of you. So it was around this point that I also lost a couple of family members. It was the lowest point of my life. I was really sad, angry, confused. I used to go to school. I used to cry in the washroom. I used to come out, be with my friends, and pretend like nothing happened. I developed sleep anxiety. I was feeling really sad, angry, hurt. I learned how to stress for the first time. You get the point. I just wasn't happy with myself, and that's something I never want to feel again. So I thought, how can I mend this? All I need to do is go achieve something of my own and find something of my own. And once I achieve it, it will all be okay. So at that time, I didn't know anything better about a system, but I chose the board exams as my thing. So I thought whenever I study, I top school. Cool. So now imagine if I study as much as humanly possible, I would definitely top school. And not just school. In my head, I was going to top India. I was going to go to the top DU colleges. And this is not a joke. I even had a speech ready for when the news channels come to my house and I top India. So then I studied as much as humanly possible, so much work ethic, discipline, obsession into this one thing, so many sleepless nights. But then the actual boards came around, and now I don't want to rant about how your handwriting matters more than what you actually write. But I didn't end up topping boards. The DU college didn't happen, and the news channels did not show up to my house. Of course, I was shattered, but this made me realize a very important concept, a small secret success formula that I found for myself. So I thought boards were supposed to be my thing, but it was never my thing to begin with. Sure, I had the work ethic, I had the discipline, I had the hard work, I had the obsession, but here's what I was missing. I was missing the burning desire to really succeed, and I was missing the passion to really do well in boards. I didn't have that, which I later found in content, but I'm going to be getting back to that. So in retrospect, all these things that I've just told you about my life, they are small moles now, but at that time, they really did feel like really big mountains. I didn't get into the top DU colleges, I didn't top boards, but today I'm okay with that because today the same DU colleges, they call me to give speeches, they ask me to be the chief guest, they ask me to put stalls for my own business. And I know it's a subtle flex, but it's a nod in the right direction, and it's a nod for all of you that some things that I'm saying might actually help you as well. So these mountains and obstacles that I've just talked about, they led to my greatest lesson. And listen carefully. So the first and foremost thing that needs to be yours is yourself. It is so important to take time to discover things about yourself, love yourself, and find things that you enjoy to do. Okay, I'll use the analogy of dance here, even though I can't dance at all. Don't ask me to after this. But let's say that dance was my thing. Dance is something I really enjoyed doing. It made me really happy. So relationship, no relationship. Council, school team, no council. It wouldn't matter because it's something that made me happy and I could always fall back on dance whenever I needed to. Now, second situation, let's say my parents, they forced me to do dance. Okay, so from the outside world's perspective, dance would be associated with me, it would be my thing for others. But the second I would get the chance, I wouldn't fall back on dance and I would abandon it. So don't do the latter. Take time for yourself, and you do you for you. Okay, now this is going to be fun. So, how many of you dated in school and thought it's the most important thing in your life? I did. I was probably the youngest romantic that you could have found at that time. A little like Ted from How I Met Your Mother. Best show, by the way. I'm not taking anything else for an answer. And it was at this time that I also parted ways with my long-term girlfriend. And I realized at that point that everything really does happen for a reason, and it's only in retrospect that we realize the lesson that life was trying to teach me. So what I realized is the lesson it taught me is it was around the same time that I had started distancing myself from my friends and my family, and the only person that was constant in my life, my girlfriend at the time, she was gone too. And it made me realize that I am so dependent on external cues and others to feel certain emotions. When things went wrong, when relationships end, when boards end, you have so much free time, and you should have things for yourself to fall back on. And at that time, I couldn't fall back on myself. I didn't I didn't know what to do with myself. I hadn't taken the time to discover the things I like. I hadn't taken time to discover the things I know about myself that can actually make me withstand certain things and come out of it stronger. And that's where I was wrong. So, only by taking this journey of self love and awareness, I believe that you can be truly independent and prepared for what life has to throw at you. Today, I know what I want, I know what I like, I feel more in control of myself. I feel like I know myself as a completely separate person who understands myself better than anyone else, and that has what's been a game changer for me. So, if and when things go south, you should know yourself well enough and you should be prepared enough to withstand it and come out of it a stronger person. And this sounds corny, but first things first, you need to find and date yourself instead. Another thing about me is that I'm absolutely terrified of failure. So, not even thinking about failure, I decided to pursue a dream that I've been suppressing for so long: content creation. So, I believe that's what used to fill the entire world in our minds, it now fills our smartphones. So, while the other kids, they were obsessing over celebrity actors, musicians, I wasn't. I was only obsessing over YouTubers. But at the same time, I was a very shy kid. I was not comfortable in front of the camera. I didn't take any photos, stories, none of that. But little by little, by watching these YouTubers, I started realizing that what are these people doing? They're making a killing through documenting their passions, gaining an audience through it, and in the process, getting a personal brand and businesses out of it. That was beautiful to me. I thought I can tell my own story through my own eyes, through my own creativity, and get a personal brand and business out of it. That's everything I've always wanted. Sign me up. So I decided I'm going to go get comfortable with creating media, and I'm going to be happy with what I put out. And till the time I'm happy with what I'm creating, I won't put it out. Because if hate comes along, it won't bother me because I'll be happy with what I'm putting out. So this is what my routine looked like. I went to Bombay, which is a new city for me, for college. I would go to college, film all day, come back, rest, film some more, edit till 5 a.m. in the morning, wake up 9 a.m. for college, and repeat. I kept doing this and I kept trying to like experiment with the content till the lockdown hit. And these experimental pieces that I had, I could finally put them together into proper YouTube videos, and that's when I started my YouTube channel. It goes by the name of MXM, which stands for Mahir Malhotra, and also two words that I try to live my life by: maximize memories. Today, I'm so happy that I got to capture those memories because I love saying this. I don't just have to tell my story, I can actually show it to you. So initially for the first year, I gained no traction at all until Reels came around, which was fine because I was finally doing things for myself. I was finally doing things that gave me immense security today. Other than content, I was keeping up my college grades. I started working out, a better mental health, physical health. I was growing my bonds with the friends and family in my time. Everything was finally happening and I was finally doing it for myself. So coming back to my point of the burning desire and the secret success formula, boards was never my thing, but with content creation, I finally had the burning desire and the passion for it. And now the same work ethic and discipline I had for boards, I put them together, and that is the only reason I can gain and actually grow in the content field. I truly believe that once you have a goal, there is no quitting, because quitters, they never win, and winners, they never quit. What you have to do is never ever take your temporary failures as permanent defeats, because if you do that, you will actually be permanently defeated. And that's the last thing that I would want for any of you. When you look back one day, nothing changes. But when you look back 3 to 5 years, everything changes. All of us know that. So from today, when you look back one day, you should see yourself trying to be better, do better, work on yourself, finding things for yourself. You know all these things already. Just do 1%, 0.1% better than 2 days prior. And when in the future you look back 3 to 5 years, you're going to be so happy with the person you've become and everything you've achieved. You will truly be proud. So a thing that you can do to actually appreciate this entire process is something that my community likes to call the gratitude list. One of my followers actually told me about it on my Instagram live, and I still follow it till day. So you basically had a journal on your phone, notes app, anything at all. Put the title gratitude list, and every day, anything you're grateful for. Today I'm grateful I took a step in the right direction by doing this. Today I'm grateful I made this reel because it made me feel XYZ. Anything at all, you put that, and anytime you feel sad or low, look back at your gratitude list, and you will truly be able to appreciate this process of self love and self exploration, and you'll be able to see how much it is actually giving you. Things will change a few years down the line, so make sure that it's a positive change. Today, I've created over 1,000 videos. Am I where I want to be? No, not even close. It's been a very slow and volatile ride for me, but I'm doing it for me. I have a vision, I'm working hard and smart for it, and I will get places. I already am in a way. Just look back at my 3 to 5 years. I acknowledge that I'm a work in progress, but progress for me means an upward trend with the occasional dips. And after today, that's where I want all of you to be aiming upwards, making progress, and knowing yourself well enough, being strong enough by having things for yourself to withstand those dips and come out of it stronger. I'm just as ordinary as the last person I meet, and I will be just as ordinary as the next person I can meet. But only by doing all these things that I've talked about today, I can actually say it with pride that today when I move out, I get recognized for my content. I worked with the biggest brands. Last year, I was covered by news channels. I reached over 70 million plus people. That's more than the population of Italy and a lot of the European countries. I've had acting opportunities. I have a loyal community that I absolutely adore and love. I have opportunities to speak at IITs and give TED Talks. I did courses on investment, stock market for a more secure future. Started working out, building my physical and mental health. I run 2 businesses on the side. I have great relationships with everyone in my family and my friends. I'm in a position to build teams. I'm in a position to really take off. And the best part is that I'm just getting started on this journey. So this part I actually wanted to read out because it summarizes most of the things I've said and what I did. And I want you to listen very carefully, okay? So I looked within, I really understood myself, and I can say that now I know how to keep myself happy. I'm self aware, I'm motivated, I know what I want. I know I care deeply about my future, business, finances, friends, family, personal brand content. That's a part of me that I took time and I discovered. And only because of discovering those things about myself do I know what to work on. I know what to plan, I know what to do. It allows me to do better in all fields. So today I leave you with 2 things to focus on: being happy with yourself through the journey of self awareness and exploration, and as a result, finding that burning desire to succeed. From seeds to trees, and from your goals to your achievement, it all takes time to be fruitful. This is real life, not real life. You cannot skip to the good part. Make yourself your priority, put yourself first, you do you, and everything else will eventually add up. Thank you so much for having me, and until next time, it's been your boy, MXM.